Hello, windy Warsaw. Hello, Poland. So today we are gonna go and explore Warsaw a little bit more. You see, I'm trying to get a feel for the city. I don't have the feel for the city just yet, and it's gonna take time. And you guys have given us a lot of suggestions, and I was just blown away. Like, me and Marina were just blown away by, you know, the details of the specific areas, the specific streets. Someone wrote that you wanted me to turn right or to turn left, and I turned the other way. And that was really awesome, guys. Thank you so much for doing all this. You know, I really appreciate it. Marina really appreciates it. And so I'm still kind of trying to get the feel for the city. I'm slowly starting to realize that the neighborhood we are in right now, I think it's called Ochota or something like that, is a pretty cool neighborhood actually. It's starting to kind of fill out. There are stores, there are kind of shops. It's relatively quiet. It's probably not as expensive as kind of one of the downtown areas, but there's still more work that needs to be done. There's still more exploration. And so today I'm gonna get on a bus or a tram and head to Praga, because that is an area a lot of you recommended to me, and so that is an area I want to check out. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. All right, so I got my Google Maps. I'm trying to figure out. So what I did is I just put an area. So it says here in Google, it says there's some yellow there, and it says like busy area. So that's exactly where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the heart of the busy area. I've never been over the river on the other side before, so it looks like I need to take one of the trams there. And it looks like it goes directly there. I still need to walk for about 10 minutes, and I'm gonna grab a daily ticket so that I can kind of travel through these trains, maybe stop somewhere, buy something, then, you know, get on another form of transit and go from there. So that is one of the trams that we need to take. We need to take tram 7 or 25 from that station over there across the street. I've arrived at my last stop, and my understanding is that I need to walk that way a little bit more, and I will get to an area that's marked as busy on Google Maps. So we will see what the area is like. Is it for me? Is it not for me? Gonna go check it out. The other thing is that it's hard to believe that it's been like 5 weeks since we've arrived to Poland. Really hard to believe. It seems a lot longer for some reason, but these like 5 weeks were just moving at breakneck speed. We're getting closer and closer to that yellow area, to that area marked yellow, where we're gonna have supposedly some activity, some stuff happening. There's our Biedronka, and Biedronka became our favorite kind of chain here because you know, it's Portuguese, it's good quality stuff, it's cheap, it's all over the city. So one issue has been solved of picking a good chain to shop in. Lidl, Aldi, Netto, Biedronka. I think we've settled on Biedronka for now. So what got my attention is those buildings on the other side. That's some interesting buildings, kind of grayish, and they look very different than some of the buildings out there in the distance, the kind of the lighter ones, the whiter ones. I don't even know how long these buildings were here, what the history is behind them, but they do look very ominous, very you know, kind of this ominous, threatening kind of look, if you will. So one thing that we needed to solve very quickly, that was like the priority, was that we needed to register, right? To register to stay here legally and all that. And now that Marina has done it, and I've also studied the subject, contacted a few lawyers, and I also have a solution that I'm working on. So we can safely say that this issue has been solved. Thank you to many of you that have written, giving suggestions about a lawyer, advice, stuff like that, the emails. Very, very much appreciated. And yeah, before I forget, I just wanted to give you guys a big thanks for all the help that you guys did, all the comments, all the ideas. That has been super, super helpful. And it's definitely making our life a lot easier, a lot less hassle-free here in Poland. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of the side streets and check out what it looks like away from this kind of this main street, because it's pretty obvious that the main street isn't something that I'm gonna find. Anything that I'm looking for is just your regular kind of main street. I think all the interesting things are gonna be of value, including kind of this pikarnia here. All these little shops are gonna be on one of these minor streets here off the main street. The next challenge for us right now, well, there are actually a couple of challenges. One of the challenges is finding a long-term accommodation. The place we have right now is great. It's a little small for our, you know, for us, and we're kind of used to having bigger places. It's been a godsend finding that place, and so thank you so much to the person that wrote to us and suggested that place. It's been a godsend. It truly has. Really great place. But I think down the road we're gonna need something a bit bigger. So that's one thing. The second challenge, kind of one of the main challenges, is obviously the language. I will never feel comfortable in a country where I do not speak the local language. It's something with me, it's my own personal psychology. There's really nothing I can do about it. I gotta be able at least to communicate. Fortunately, Polish is more or less, it has some similarities with a lot of with a couple of languages that I know, namely Ukrainian and Russian. And so that means that just by looking at something, even, you know, being, you know, for the first day here, just looking at something, I can kind of understand 50 to maybe 60%. Here's another very, very interesting building. This building looks like it's taking up like the whole block, the entire block, and this is probably one of the biggest buildings I've ever seen. Because if you check, you know, you might think, okay, these are actually two buildings, but no, it's one huge building. That's insane. Here we have another Chinese place over here. Could be a good option if one gets hungry. Now, when it comes to Polish, the language, the problem isn't really vocabulary or grammar. Both are kind of similar to the languages I already know. So that is not the big issue. The biggest issue right now is pronunciation. Is being able to read the words, being able to kind of say the word properly. Because there are a bunch of rules there that are radically different than, you know, Russian or Ukrainian. And so this morning I sat down, pulled up a couple of YouTube videos and just kind of drilled the right way to kind of understand the pronunciation. Those videos really did help out. And so I think in due time my capability of reading and saying Polish words will definitely increase. And definitely language is super important. I'm not looking to fluency. I'm not looking to be a fluent. I'm not looking to speak in a way where people think that, you know, I've lived here for many years. I just want to be comfortable, conversational. I just want to connect with people. For me, that is super, super important. I know there are a lot of people that, you know, live in Poland and probably don't speak the language or know a couple of words here and there, but that definitely is not me. So that is something I am definitely going to be working on. Here's another street that's opposite of the street that we were just on. Just discovering more Ukrainian flags there. I'm curious if they're actually Ukrainian or just supporting, a show of support. This is also a very interesting neighborhood because you have buildings like that, then you have a building like that, you know, and then you have a building like that, that colorful building. You know, it's all these different styles. One to the next is completely different. And that kind of underscores my thinking when it comes to Warsaw, is that it's really a city of contrast, right? Everything is different. And that's a sick looking building. What does that say? Some kind of a government, looks like some kind of a government building. It says there Warsaw, Praga, and then Urząd something Skarbowy. So it looks like possibly some kind of government building. And then next to it you have a really completely different looking building. It looks like it was restored. Could be a hotel or apartments. I'm thinking maybe a hotel of some sort. Looks really amazing. We got a Ukrainian flag up there. And here we have a different area, possibly a different, you know, type of neighborhood. Here we have some an older building here, a newer like a restored building, and then we have kind of modern developments. And if you were to ask me, I definitely prefer that modern development style. Now in terms of Warsaw, so far I really like Warsaw, and Marina also likes Warsaw. I'm a big city guy, so for me the city has to be at least 1 million. Like, I want to feel like, you know, there's lots of things to do in the city, lots of different neighborhoods. And so Gdansk was awesome. One of the most beautiful cities we've ever been to. But I do kind of, at the end of the day, we do kind of prefer kind of bigger cities. I could eat my words. Maybe in a month I would be like, why did we move out of Gdansk? That could happen, you know. I'm not saying that I will not change my mind. I do reserve to change my mind, but historically I've always lived in cities that were over 1 million, at least 1.5 million, or just over 1 million, let's say. And so Kiev is like around 3 million, more or less. Warsaw is 1.7 million. So there you go. In Warsaw, another thing I really like about it is the transportation here. I mean, it's out of this world. In Kiev, yeah, you got buses, trams, metro and all that. But in Warsaw, it's on another level. It's just a lot more comfortable, it's easier. It's just a lot better organized. And so I've been taking buses and trams here all the time, and the metro whenever I can. So I really, really like that aspect. I like, you know, taking a bus and going to a completely different neighborhood instead of just walking everywhere. Now, I'm not saying I hate walking. I do like walking. But I also like, you know, go to Praga and then go to the center and go somewhere else. So for me, that is very, very cool. Here we have another, I think, government building. Here you have kind of a residential street that has no businesses, or maybe a couple of businesses here and there, but for the most part, truly a residential street. No surprises. The further we walk from the main street, the less businesses you're gonna have. But this is important for me because I want to see what do kind of the residential areas look like in different parts of the cities as well. And obviously a huge benefit to Warsaw is that easy connection. You have the international airport here. You have Warsaw Central, where you can grab a train in any city, in any direction. And for somebody that, you know, wants to explore the area, go to maybe Krakow one day or another city the next day, or explore different parts of the country, that is definitely, you know, makes things a lot easier. Whereas if you're living in like one part of a country, your way to connect is going to be definitely a little bit more limited. It's not going to be impossible, but it's going to be a little bit less convenient for sure. It looks like if I keep going that way, I'm going to reach the river, and that kind of marks the end of Praga, because I'm going to be basically back in the center. So I'm going to head the other way and see what else, what other kinds of streets I will find. Tell me if this sums up Warsaw, Warszawa, well. Tell me if I'm on the right path, okay? On this side we have buildings that look like that, really kind of historical buildings, a little bit old school. And then we go on this side and we have more modern building. Look at that building right there. This one is really cool, big balconies. That one is really modern. So is this kind of what Warsaw is? Because a lot of times as I walk around and wander around the city, this is kind of what I see. I see different types of buildings. Like, well, I definitely do not see a building like that everywhere. But maybe, you know, a building that looks similar in architecture, but restored perhaps. And then over there we have kind of a different style building, different. Here we have a modern building, we have modern building. These are actually really cool buildings. I really like this style here. This big balconies. Lots of great things to do. Now, as I'm wandering around Praga, I'm starting to get a better idea what it looks like. I mean, those buildings, those developments all look awesome, but I still don't feel I found kind of the heart of it, right? Is there an area, I wonder, that has like, you know, like a street or part of a street that has a bunch of restaurants or kind of coffee shops kind of bunched in together? Or maybe there's no such thing. So we're gonna find out. And here we are back on the main street, this big bad street here where it all began. And here's another one of the smaller streets of the main street. And like I was saying, you have a building that looks like this, one that looks like that, one that looks like that, and one that looks like that in the distance. Completely different styles. You know, at least from kind of what I can see, these are kind of similar, but then the other ones are different over there. Very peculiar, I gotta say. So I think that's it for the tour of Praga for today. I walked around, kind of got a feel for it. Gonna let it digest, read some of your awesome comments, letting me know what I missed, and I'm sure I missed a lot. That's no secret. But right now I'm gonna head to back to the center to buy a couple of things. I want to stop by TK Maxx or TJ Maxx and see if they have this one thing that I need to buy, and then maybe check out some of your recommendations in the center that you wrote under the previous video. And it seems that Poland also has, at least Warsaw, has these stores in these underground crossings, like they have in Ukraine as well. So here I'm back in the center, on one of the main streets here. I'm gonna see what else I can discover. Interesting here. And so when it comes to Praga, I'm not exactly sure it's for me. Perhaps I need to come back there later on and see what I missed. I just, you know, I need to keep searching for something that's gonna be, I don't know, I guess I'll know it when I see it, because I'm seeing these different neighborhoods and I'm not exactly feeling it yet. There's lots of streets, lots of action, and I just checked one of my notes, and there are a couple of areas that I still need to explore that might have some potential, They're here in the center. One is actually just north of where I'm now, and another one is just south. And so there could be some potential. I think they have some like little shops and kind of cool coffee areas, coffee shops, cool restaurants. And yeah, so I gotta keep kind of searching, trying to find myself in Warsaw. It's an ongoing process. But that's kind of the thing with big cities, is that there's a lot of places to explore, there's a lot of neighborhoods, and so if you can't find something that fits you in the beginning, there's gonna be other places to check out. So there's always a new opportunity for finding something that suits you. And I like that. I like the challenge. I love the challenge of big cities. That's how it kind of was in other cities that I visited or lived in. Another thing that I just realized is I need to get that monthly pass to save on some money, because I believe it's going to be cheaper than buying like a daily pass all the time, or buying a single ticket all the time. I think if you're taking a lot of trips, maybe every day, which I probably do for the most part, I think like 5 days a week I travel at least 2 times. So for that respect, it's gonna be a lot more economical for sure. Here you see more contrast between this building and that building, so I can keep doing this all day. It's so interesting though, I gotta be honest with you. It's so interesting to check all this out. Now honestly, even before I came to Warsaw, I had no idea what to expect. All I knew is that Warsaw is gonna be different than the other kind of main cities in Poland, namely Krakow and Wrocław. I knew it's gonna be different, but I also knew something about it is gonna be special. You know, so there was that kind of balance. It's gonna be different and it's gonna be special. And I can say that both of those 2 points are correct. It is different. I mean, take a look at this building right here. Completely different than just about anything else. And it is special, for sure. There's just something about it. It's the capital. It's the biggest city. You know, it's an important city. No matter how you slice it, whether you hate it or you love it, it's an important city. It's not a city you can ignore. Those are kind of my thoughts as of now, and they're kind of the continuation of some of the thoughts I had previously. And I can't say that what I saw, what I found here, is, you know, radically different than what I expected. This is kind of what I expected, but it's a lot deeper. I'm getting a deeper understanding with each passing day. Now, one thing about Warsaw is that it does have this business feel to it. It's unmistakable. Different streets here, different areas. Sometimes I think like I am in New York, right? There's all these big wide streets, lots of cars, people rushing from one place to another. It has this busy feel, right? Kind of like Kiev, kind of like a lot of these big capitals that I have noticed here. So whereas, you know, Gdansk did not have that feel, and I'm not saying that people don't work there, they absolutely do, but it's a feel that you discover. And so perhaps Gdansk had a slightly lesser feel, whereas this place has a lot more of that. There's a lot more kind of this business feel here. And I do like that. I do like the business aspect. That is one of the many things that I like about New York. And especially kind of the big thing I love about New York is that hustle feel of people kind of working, getting things done. And so I do welcome it. And I do feel it here in the city. But having said that, it's also important to have balance in life, right? New York, unfortunately, at least in my experience, in my view of me working there and living there, does not have a true balance. There's a lot of this hustle, and there's not a lot of time that's left for other things, right? Because people are always working, they're trying to make the most money, they're trying to get rich, to whatever, accomplish their dreams, whatever they need. That's kind of what New York is. But I think Warsaw has a little bit more balance here. Europe in general has a lot more balance than places like New York. And so that's also a great thing that I like. There's the kind of the work element, the business element, the hustle element, the people moving, people going places. And then you have, you know, nice areas where you can chill, restaurants, clubs, coffee shops, stuff like that, where you can just come down and relax and enjoy life and appreciate the things around you. And there's that gorgeous building that all of you love, and some of you have even given it informal names, which was a lot of fun to read. So definitely keep them coming. And so, for example, here's a random street I just stumbled upon. There's a good restaurant over there. There's a cool building, really gorgeous. There's a coffee shop here, a couple of other places, couple of stores, couple of other restaurants, couple of other coffee shops. And so there's a little passageway inside. Maybe there's something interesting there. Couple of other places here. And so I think that's kind of what it comes down to, is that you kind of have to wander around and find your little gems here. Find your little piece. There's some Vietnamese street food, which looks pretty decent actually. If I was hungry, I'd give it a shot. And then I think if we go down there, this looks like one of these old school kind of courtyard situation that's very common, at least in like Ukraine and other countries. You have some beautiful mural here as well, kind of cool building from this side, and we're right in the center, and you just walk out and it's a completely different architecture, different environment. And that's what Warsaw is. It's just about exploring it. Here we have Little Hanoi, Vietnamese food as well, opposite of this Vietnamese street food. So I don't know, this one or that one, hard to say. So that's kind of what Warsaw is all about. It's about just walking and exploring it and finding something that you know, that you connect with, and calling it your own. Here you have some historical information. Unfortunately, I am not that proficient in Polish as of yet to read this, but I can try, you know, I can try to kind of figure it out if I needed to. So we have history here. You have some kind of development, kind of, I guess, information. New center of Warsaw. I guess I can understand that. And this is kind of what it seems to me that they want to build. This is kind of what they're doing. There's a lot of construction happening here. So correct me if I'm wrong. This is probably what they want to build right there. Bagietka pszenna.
Potwierdzenie? Dziękuję bardzo.
No, dzięki.